Biden says he'll never mandate vaccines, and now he's mandating vaccines. Welcome, everybody, to the Tyler Fischer Show. Thanks for joining me. It's so good to see you on this Monday. We got a great show for you today. We have the best show for you today. I'm kind of in this kind of Hulk-style voice. I just auditioned for the voice of the Hulk. I just sent in an audition for the voice of a Hulk on maybe a new, I don't know if it's a cartoon or a video game, but I'm kind of losing my mind because I auditioned for, everyone keeps telling me stop blocking my face. People keep saying lower the mic, but I'm just so short that it doesn't, this is as low as it goes. So it's less of a lower the mic issue and more of a get taller. So I'm believe me, I'm on 3 pillows right now, frankly. Believe me, right? I'm on 3 pillows, so many pillows. They say, sir, we need more pillows. I say, how many pillows do we have to sit on? So I'm on 3 pillows. So look, we're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get a swivel chair, that one of those that you can lift up and put down. So I'll lift it up, and then maybe we can get there. How's that? Is that good for you? So anyways, I'm in a split personality mode right now because I had to audition for the voice of Larry David for a chip commercial to do a voice double for him. I don't know if they're going to use his image, and then sometimes they'll have the actor or a celebrity be in the commercial, and then they'll pay somebody to do a voice double because it's way cheaper than paying them twice for on camera and their voice. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I had to go back and forth from doing Larry David to the Hulk. And now I feel like I'm just in this, like, I think maybe, why not? Maybe we should do a fucking animated show where it's Larry Hulk David. Just combine the two. Pretty good. I'm going to have to ask you not to put your glass on the wood. Do you respect wood? Do you respect wood? Pretty good. You know, I went to a dinner party last night. I didn't want to stay for dessert. They kept saying, you have to stay for dessert. I said, that's not the social rule. I can leave whenever I want. They said, Larry, you're a fucking asshole. Get out of here. I said, fuck you. I flipped the fucking table over, and then I picked it up and I wiped it off because I respect wood. I'm Larry Hulk David. So look out for that. Maybe that's what I should pitch. That would be the show that gets made. I've been pitching shows for 10 years. That would be the show that gets made. They'd be like, we really like that. That's an interesting new idea. We just want to make sure we have diversity. So as much as we like your voice, we're going to have to go with... We're going to be using an Afghani refugee for your voice, Tyler. We'd like to use you, but we're going to be giving this to a Afghani refugee who has no experience with voiceover whatsoever in the vein of equity. So that'll be the next thing I'll start losing work to. Refugees. So that's that. And on this week's bonus episode, Patreon bonus episode, for all you T-boners out there who are on Patreon, I played my auditions for this week on the episode. So I auditioned for Jimmy Fallon, Larry David, and the Hulk, and ran y'all through my process for auditioning for a voiceover. So check that out on the boner episodes. And some people ask if we could have a name for fans of the show, and I want you guys to go ahead and comment below and let me know, what do you want to be? I had T-boners, I like that one. T-boners, the T-hive, teaspoons. So yeah, man, I think it's time we have a crew. We got to name our crew. So whatever you guys want, start throwing them down there, in the comments, and maybe we'll take a vote on that. And then we'll make some t-shirts. Because that's how you know you made it. So, yeah, I play the voiceover clips. I announce my new sketch and show a clip from my private Staten Island stand-up comedy show, which I did, all in the bonus episode. Packed this week. Had an awesome show. Some amazing fans had me come out to Staten Island, brought a speaker, did a show in their backyard. It was so fucking fun. It was so fun. Nice to be out of a comedy club and the stuffy stand-up scene and the masking, the vaccines. It was just a free, American-loving fucking crew of fucking jabronis. It was a lot of jabronis. It was like a lot of fucking, Joe Pesci's walking around. But they were good. They had a good sense of humor. They go, hey, I like that joke. That's a good fucking joke. I like that. Very vocal crowd, the Italians. Very vocal. Awesome. I mean, I just gave them their space. If I threw a joke out there and I let them kind of, talk amongst themselves, and then I'd get back. So I understood. I have a lot. I grew up with a Italian family next door, and I understand that they're big talkers. The big talkers. Oh, you're a big fucking talker. There was a straight up Marissa Tomei at the show. Hilarious. I started asking her people if they had dogs. She goes, I have a dog. We have dogs. I love the Italian way of speaking. I love it, adding like 20 W's. I have a dog. It's dog. You know how to spell dog. D-A-W-W-W-W-G. Dog. I rest my case. But it was a great show. And as soon as I walk into the show, I get godfathered. I just get there. I just throw my stuff down. And this guy pulls me over to the table. He says, come here for a second. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the deballing process. I was like, what? He goes, when you get married, you slowly start. It was Cuomo. This was a private show for the Cuomo family. But this guy, I love it. He just pulls me over. He goes, if you get married, each day you start to lose your balls a little more and a little more. We call it the deball. I didn't even know what was going on. I hadn't even gotten settled. We call it the deballing process. You wake up, you lose a little ball, you slice it off like a fucking prosciutto. You take a little thin slice, and it's a slow process, so you don't even notice. And then you wake up the next day, your balls are a little lighter. Until 5 years goes by and you're talking like this, you realize your woman's taking your fucking balls. So I want you to remember that. And I was like, this is amazing. This is fucking amazing. Didn't know the guy, hadn't even introduced each other, and he's giving me this deballing process. And then a guy came up to me during the show. He goes, that's my father-in-law. He goes, he gave me the deballing speech before I got married. And so I'm deballed now. I got the Staten Island deballing. I feel like I'm part of the crew. And there was a good fucking time. Good fucking time. And they forced... they didn't necessarily force their hands on me, but they forced food down my throat. I will say that. They would not let me leave. And they kept saying, you can't leave Staten Island until you've had 12 pizza rolls. And then I'd go and I'd eat some rolls, and they go, hey, come here, we just put out the spring rolls. You can't leave Staten Island until you've had some spring rolls. I'd go have some spring rolls. They just kept bringing, hey, you gotta have a gabagool sklog, the schlagaballs. You gotta have the gaga schlagaballs. You can't leave Staten Island until you've had 45 schlagamaga-balls. And I go, all right, I'll have some of the balls. And I left sick to my stomach. Is that the goal, Italian people? What's your goal here with the force feeding? Nobody feels good after eating that much. Is that how you do it? Is that how you force your control on us? non-Italians, you get us so fucking fat, you get us so full that we're sick and we can't even move. And then you put your hands on us. That's it. There you go. Figured it out. The old Italian bait and switch. They bait you up, they feed you, get you fat, and then they come in. And touch you. But anyways, I had a great time, and thanks for having me. And that was the day before 9/11. A lot of patriots there. A lot of patriots at the show. Staten Island, tons and tons of police officers and firefighters from Staten Island. So I assume big loss during 9/11. A lot of Staten Island families, friends, lost people in the attacks on the Twin Towers. And this guy did pull me aside. He goes, "Hey, man, I just want to say it's a really tough day for everybody, and I want to thank you for getting us all to laugh and kind of bringing us alive because, you know, it's a tough time of the year." So I felt good to offer some laughs and some fun before a tough day for a lot of these guys and gals. And 9/11 hit me harder than it's ever hit me. I fucking cried. I was walking to a show and I just saw cops all over the city. And I cried for the cops because there's so much hate right now for the police. Not by everybody. I know there's a lot of people that respect the police and understand that the actions of Officer Chauvin or others do not represent almost 1 million police officers because they're logical and they understand it's not all police. It's not even half, and it's certainly not most. So I walked up to some cops, and I gave them a pound. I just said, "Hey, thank you for your service." That's what I wanted to do on 9/11. I wanted to show my support for the men and women in blue that when we have, hopefully we don't, if there's another 9/11 attack, those are going to be the first people running into the buildings. On 9/11, everyone's running out of a fucking skyscraper that had just been hit by a plane, and the cops and the firefighters have to run into that. And a lot of them knew we are probably going to die, and they still did it, and a lot of them died. And that's a hero to me. And all these cops that are standing on the corner today, you might just see them standing around. It doesn't mean they're not working. Their presence alone is what keeps crime from happening. It's just like when we were in Afghanistan. It's like, well, it was a pointless war. Yeah, but also we haven't had a 9/11 in 20 years because we were there with our finger on the pulse, making sure that people didn't start planning the next 9/11. So I just went up and I was crying. I couldn't help it. I was crying. It's just like, who could do that job? Who could do that job? I couldn't do that job. If we have a terrorist attack, they're not like, all comedians to the front line. We have a plane that just went into the Empire State Building. We need all stand-up comedians to stand outside, go up to the observatory, and start telling jokes to the terrorists. If we can make these terrorists laugh, they will put their weapons down. It's like, no, it's the cops, it's the medics, it's the firefighters. And thank you for your service. Not just on 9/11, every day. Because you're just on call waiting for this to happen. So, went down to towards the World Trade Center. I just felt this. I did a show at 7 o'clock. I got out at 8:30, saw the big beaming lights, which God knows how they do that. I mean, it just goes up literally into space. The two representations of the Twin Towers. And how many people, by the way, do you think see those and think there's a new nightclub that's opening downtown? You got to imagine, because you know when you have the new nightclub, they have those lights, those fucking strobe lights or those whatever those things are called, spotlights. You got to imagine somebody from New Jersey is they go, oh damn, look at that new nightclub downtown. We got to go check that out. And they drive in, and they get down, and it's just the 9/11 memorial. I'd be willing to bet at least 100 people have gone, assuming it's a new nightclub. If you're one of those people, please message me, because I think that's hilarious. But anyways, I just felt drawn to the towers, and took a scooter down, one of these mopeds you can rent. There's this app, so I just got on a scooter. And I got some gelato first, let's be honest with each other. And then drove down to the towers and just sat and just looked at it. And yeah, I was a freshman in high school during 9/11. And I had this like real love for the Twin Towers. It was like borderline obsession. There was something about them that I would come into New York all the time with my dad or my family. We only lived like an hour and a half away. And my dad and we would park down at the Twin Towers. That was like our home base. I mean, it's not hard to believe. I mean, these things are just, they're massive. They're just unbelievable structures you can't even comprehend. So they draw you in. And so that's where we would park. We would park at the Twin Towers. And we would go to the car show, which was down there at the Javits Center, or walk around, go to Chinatown. And we were at the Twin Towers, I think it was a week before 9/11, my dad and I. And I shit you not, I looked up and I was obsessed. I was upset. If you ever got a chance to see the Twin Towers, I mean, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. The size and the power of those buildings, and something so beautiful about how simple they were. Like, so simple. And something almost parental about them. I think that was a big part of it. Something so grounded and powerful and parental. Having these two, we'll call one male and one female. Maybe the one with the antenna was the dick, but they were just beautiful, and I was obsessed. Anytime we drove into the city, I would just lock in on the skyline and just like stare at those buildings. And a week before the Twin Towers went down, my dad and I are down there, and I'm looking at these buildings. I shit you not. I look up and I go, Dad, what would happen if one of these fell down? Mic drop. And now I don't want to say I'm responsible for 9/11, but I always carried some of the weight of it because I feel like I put that into the universe. Not to mention, when I was a kid, in between the Twin Towers, like, there was almost this wind tunnel. It's down by the Hudson River, so like the wind would kind of get sucked around in between the towers, and I was such a tiny guy as a kid and as an adult that I was wearing again, completely true story, was wearing a windbreaker. It fills up with wind, and I blow away. I actually blew away. I was with my dad, and I get sucked up, and I got blown from one of the towers to the other tower. Literally, my dad had to chase after me. I blew away. Has a kid ever blown away before? Well, I blew away. And I was really young, and my brothers always told me, they go, you knocked into the tower, and you're the reason that the fucking towers fell down. So so my brothers were assholes, but hilarious. And part of me believed that because I blew away and knocked into one of the towers that caused 9/11. So, again, I'll take some responsibility. I'm all about personal responsibility, so I'll say it. I partially caused 9/11. Not proud of it, but I feel like I went and had some gelato down there and thanked some cops and made it better. So I feel better about it. And I almost asked out a cop. Last week. I saw a woman who looked like I have a fucking thing for Marissa Tomei from My Cousin Vinny. And I saw this cop, and I go, just go. I go, she looks a lot like Miss Marissa Tomei. And I go, I'm going to walk up to her and just tell her that because I'm just working on talking to people. And I walked up to her. I go, how you doing? She goes, I'm good. She's sitting there with her, hand on a gun, hand on the waist. I go, anyone ever told you you look like a young Marissa Tomei? And she got a little embarrassed. She goes, well, no, they haven't, but thank you. I go, it's a compliment. I go, I had a huge crush on her. And then I panicked and I ran away. I wanted to ask her out. Why not? Why not? Date a cop? Are you kidding me? Dude, I think it's time that T-Bone dates a cop. I think it's time I date a cop. I'll feel protected. I'll feel loved, I think that would be badass, man. So if I see her again, I'm going to ask her on a date. I think that would be perfect. If I end up dating a cop. Some guy bullies me, someone heckles me, and I go, babe, why don't you get down here? She rolls up. I heard you talking shit to my boyfriend. Huh? You want to take it downtown? No one would fuck with me ever again. That's equity, right? It's time we have women in power, right? We talk about women being in power jobs. Well, what about now having women protect men? That's equity. Small lives matter. Small lives matter. Well, we have to talk about the mandate. Joe Biden. Joe Bible. That's me, Joe Bible. Bible. But you know the thing. So he said he was not going to mandate the vaccine. How do I know he said it? Well, let's roll the clip.
For that to be done, and it's very expensive.
While Mr. Biden said he would be willing to get a vaccine, he would not require it for all Americans.
I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory, but I would do everything in my power, just like I don't think masks have to be made mandatory nationwide.
Okay. I would not make it mandatory. It should not be mandatory. I would not make masks mandatory. I would not make vaccines mandatory. I would not make it in the arm. I would not make it in the... Fuck. Thought I'd have a good rhyme there. So there he is. There he is saying he would not make it mandatory. Now, let's cut forward a few months.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you, the people you work with, the people you care about, the people you love. My job as president is to protect all Americans. So tonight, I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated or show a negative test at least once a week.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Said he wasn't going to do it. Now he's doing it. And you could show a negative test. Some people can, some can't. Teachers can't, some can. Postal workers can do it. Some now they don't have to get the vaccine. We're going to protect vaccinated people from unvaccinated. What? So here's the messaging. Go get the vaccine, you'll be protected. That's one message. Here's the other message. Unvaccinated people are putting vaccinated people at risk. You can't have both of those messages. They are contradictory to each other. So go get the vaccine and you're safe. Hey, fuck you for not getting the vaccine. You're putting me at risk. This is how you know it's not about the vaccine. It's about having full control over you. And it's not about personal freedom. This isn't about personal. Yes, it is. Living in this country is about personal freedom. That's what this country is. It's the freedom to choose what you want to do with your body. Another contradiction. Just last week, speeches about, hey, it's your body, your choice. You decide what you do with your body. And then cut forward 1 week. Hey, you don't decide what you do with your body. This was a fast, rushed, experimental vaccine, and we want to put it in your body, whether you want it or not. And the tone of his speech was accusatory. It was a shaming of the unvaccinated. Really, absolutely poor decision to present a speech this way to convince people. He even said, "My patience is running thin." My patience is running thin with you unvaccinated. Shame doesn't work. By the way, if 80 million people aren't vaccinated, isn't that on you? That's a lot of people. It might be upwards of 100 million. It could be a third of the country who's not vaccinated. Well, I'm going to bring the country together. I'm going to end the pandemic. Well, obviously you didn't do it properly if a third of the country isn't vaccinated. Not to mention, upwards of 100 million people have had COVID, and upwards of 100 million people aren't getting vaccinated. Do you think there might be some crossover between people who had COVID and also are deciding not to get vaccinated? What about that group? That's the group that I'm in. They're giving no exemption to that, to natural immunity, which is now proven to have up to between 7 and 13 times the immunity of having both Pfizer shots. So it's preposterous that they're not going to give another option. I mean, first of all, I don't believe it should be mandated at all. And if you don't want to get it, even if you didn't have COVID, that's your fucking choice. Period. You know how many people, amazing workers, are going to be quitting and getting fired? I mean, you get fired, you get terminated. It's not like you get paid leave. You get terminated. I saw a ethics teacher in Canada. She had an Instagram video last night of her saying, "Hey, I'm an ethics teacher. This is what I teach. I teach ethics. I teach about, what's ethical, what's moral, and I don't feel this is moral, and I'm young and I'm healthy, and I don't want to get vaccinated. I don't trust the vaccine, and it was rushed, and if I do not get it by Monday, I'm terminated." And she said, "So this might be my last lesson. I've been teaching at this university for 20 years. I'm a good teacher." This woman was articulate. She was thoughtful. She starts crying, and then a little thing came up that said she was terminated a week later. So she's done. She's done. Roughly a third of nurses aren't vaccinated. They're going to be let go. We're going to have a nursing shortage now. I mean, I've had a lot of nurses reach out to me who aren't getting vaccinated, and they're either going to move or going to quit. Tons of people reach out to me about this, and these aren't anti-vaxxers. These are people who just want some support. They just want to hear someone say, "I respect your choice," and I'm happy to offer that. I'm not here to save anybody or any of that. But I'm happy to just say, I respect your choice, either way. So I have people messaging me all the time. Some nurses, some in all different fields. Some are kind of famous-y people. Famous-y. We'll use that word, famous-y. Kind of famous. Who are just afraid to tell anyone, and they reach out, and we just connect about it. And lot of people, 80 million, 100 million. He said he wasn't going to do it. Fauci said, "Oh, we really probably can't do that. I'd be really surprised. We're not going to do it." Jen Psaki said, and I quote, "It's not the role of the government to mandate vaccines." All that's off the table. How much more has to happen? How many more contradictions before we just all say, "Fuck you. Stop lying to us"? I have an idea, though. I do have an idea. Here's my proposal. If we want to get people vaccinated, Joe Biden should work with the cartels, with the drug cartels in Mexico and Venezuela, wherever it is. And he should work with the cartels, and before the drugs are brought over to our country, they should be laced with the vaccine. So we should lace fentanyl with Pfizer. Call it Pfizenol. That way, in a month or two, we would have millions of people vaccinated because they're going to be doing fentanyl anyways. They're going to be overdosing. They're going to be fucking shooting up. Throw a little Pfizer in there. Throw Moderna. Throw a little J&J in there. Sprinkle a little fucking J&J right on top there. I think it's a great idea. And then you'd have people vaxxed. And it's a win-win, right? You get to help the cartels, you know? You get to help the minorities, and they can come across the country, and they can have their jobs feeding drugs to our young people, killing our young people. But the upside, at least they're vaccinated. At least, when they have their autopsy, they can go, well, they overdosed on fentanyl, but fuck. Look at these heroes. They were vaccinated with Pfizenol. We could do that. Why not? Maybe that's next. Maybe them sneaking it in is next. His patience is wearing thin. Oh. Did anyone else get the chills when you heard that? You're in trouble. He's calling it the pandemic of the unvaccinated. This is step 2. He can't take credit for the fact that he didn't end the pandemic like he said he would. So now he's going to blame 80 to 100 million people for it? Boo, the bulls. The fucking balls. This guy did not do a deballing process. He still has his balls intact. 80 to 100 million people. We're just going to go ahead. Let's shift the blame to you. Shift the blame to you. This is going to be an all-out war in this country. There's no end in sight. There's no end in sight. Where does it go from here? Where does it go? It's going to get out of control. I promise you, it will. He will keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. Again, the needle's not going to move much. Most of the people that aren't vaccinated are not going to get vaccinated. They're going to quit. They're going to get fired. You'll have some bend to this because who wants to fucking lose their job and not be able to survive? So some will get it. But let's say it's 100 million. Some say it is closer to 100. Okay, so we'll get it down to 70 million. You still have 70 million people. You're going to wage war with 70 million people in this country for their personal choice, a lot of whom probably just have immunity and aren't comfortable taking a risk, doing something we've never done before, we've never asked people to do before, which is if you've recovered from a virus, also get vaccinated. What will happen? You already have the virus. You already have the antibodies, and then you're doubling up. What can happen? That's a fair thing to be nervous about and to not want to jump into. And they're just just get it, just double up. No, we don't have the data's not in on what happens if you had it, but you get the jab. Just do it. No, that's not reasonable. It's not reasonable. So that's what I propose. Pfizenol. What else can we do? How else can we do it? My guess is next it's going to come to fining unvaccinated people just in general. I mean, they should have kept better track. They should have had a very crystal clear tracking system if they wanted to do this properly. Because now you could use a fake card. And I know a lot of people who are using them. And no, they are not right-wing Trump extremists. They are liberal. They're holistic people. They're yoga teachers. They're, naturalized medicine people. There's more liberals and far left-leaning people who are not getting vaccinated that I know than Trumpers. That data does not check out. And again, no mention about the 72% of black people in New York who aren't vaccinated. We're just not going to talk about it. How convenient. Race. Everything's about race. And now we're not going to talk about it. Okay. Pretty good. Maybe they're going to need to send Larry Hulk David. That's what we're going to have to do. That's what they're going to have to do. Right? Because Larry David's pretty neurotic, and then you get the size of the Hulk in there. We'll send him around. That'll be my new animation show. Larry Hulk David, and it's him going around and crushing people for not getting vaccinated. You think you can go without getting vaccinated? I'm Larry Hulk David. Now get your fucking glass off that wood. Do you respect wood? Do you respect the community? Get vaccinated and take your glass off the fucking wood. Pretty pretty good. And he just fucking injects people. And then has panic attacks. So that's it. And here we go. We're going to end the show by just jumping forward to what life will be like in the year 2037. We're going to take a little forward look on life. Here it is, the year 2037. You want to see what life is like? Here it is.
Hey guys, I just got my 79th booster shot, so I'm a little out of it. I'm just relaxing, but fortunately I don't have to work tomorrow because I haven't had a job in 16 years. So I'm just hanging out here in quarantine camp. I was arrested and thrown in here last week for sneezing near a baby who has a 0.000034 chance of getting COVID. So we're just locked down in the new Tupac variant, but it is good to finally see a diverse variant, right? Finally some black representation in these variants. But anyways, Lord Fauci says we'll be out of this in the next 30 years if we just stay strong. So let's recite the COVID prayer. Do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing.
Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing, and subscribe. We got 11,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's huge, huge. I had like 3,000 when I started this podcast, so thank you. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to support the podcast, patreon.com/Tyler Talks. You get all the bonus episodes, all the bonus footage, and let me know what our group name's going to be. Right in the comments. Have a great week. Do something nice for yourselves. Respect